Let's begin our webinar today. So our topic today is using a Toastmaster approach as a gateway to support non-native English-speaking teachers' language proficiency. And our presenter today is Dr. Nguyen Tien Ngo. He's the Deputy Dean of the Faculty of Foreign Languages at An Giang University, where he has worked as an English lecturer for 19 years. He's completed his PhD in TESOL at the University of Wollongong, Australia. And his research interests include teacher cognition, language skill, and professional development. Okay, so now please welcome Dr. Nguyen Tien Ngo.
Okay, thank you, Minh Thư. Morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure here to share with you about my what I know about Toastmasters and to share with our colleagues here. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Yavic Language School and the staff for assisting me during these days in order to bring this into the being. And I'd like to say my thank yous to the attendees for taking your Saturday off for 1 hour for coming to this webinar. So I hope I can bring some useful and beneficial information for you that you can take away with you after today. So actually, this is this webinar I like to share is actually about my story that I like to share with you. It is not an empirical research that I have conducted, but as a teacher and as your colleague, I like to I have concerns about language proficiency, not only for myself, but also for all the teachers as well. And we also see that teachers face a lot of challenges in maintaining their language proficiency. So what can we do about it? And here I'm going to talk about Toastmasters and how Toastmasters can help teachers to enhance, to maintain their language proficiency. So this is more about sharing a story. So first of all, we go to the what do we mean by language proficiency? So according to Bachman, language proficiency is the knowledge of competence or ability in the use of language. So that could be the knowledge of grammar, pronunciation. It is the ability of speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And language proficiency, it is part of the teacher's subject knowledge. And it is considered as a crucial component of language teachers' professional development. So you may question why it is important. So here we look at the roles of language proficiency to language teachers. We can see here, if the teachers have good language proficiency, they can contribute positively to the confidence, their choice, and the use of teaching methods in the classroom, and that will provide an extensive input for their learners, and that is considered as the crucial part for successful instructed learning in the classroom. And with their good use of language, the teachers can adjust their language use according to their learners' levels. And also they provide good provision, good input for teaching, not only in the classroom, but also outside the classroom for their students. And we can also see that teachers with good language proficiency are real examples of success that the students wish to become. Well, I remember when I was a university student, especially when I learned listening and speaking, I always look at my listening and speaking teachers, and I learned from them. I admire them And I imitated, I copied their accent, the intonation from those that I really like. So you see that the teacher's language proficiency play a very important role in that. Or in contrast, teachers with limited language proficiency may not be able to do these things, and they tend to be more didactic and more restrictive to the textbook. They may not feel very comfortable moving beyond the textbook activities. So they're not comfortable moving out of their comfort zone. So that actually raised the need for ongoing professional development for teachers. So then we come to, so what is going on in the English teachers in Asia? In a study, well, actually it is about 2 decades ago, so it needs to be updated. But we can see here the language proficiency of many teachers in Asia, including Korea, Taiwan, Japan, was not sufficient enough in order to provide the rich input for the learners in the classroom. And the teachers perceive themselves, their proficiency levels, to be lower than the minimum levels necessary for teaching. So this is why many countries, governments, they implemented a lot of national policies in order to support the teachers' professional development. For example, in Malaysia, the teachers had to go through a screening process in order to have their language proficiency evaluated, and based on that, they will have to attend the courses to improve their language proficiency. Or in Myanmar, the Ministry of Education worked together with British Council. They also provided the teachers with training and with updated teaching techniques. So what about in Vietnam? So in our country, we also face several problems. So these are some main problems that we face the lack of well-trained English teachers. And there's also a concern about the ability of in-service teachers. And there's also a concern about the low quality of foreign language education. In a study 10 years ago, in the 2 big cities, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, there was only 1 out of 5 teachers who could achieve the CFR, the Common European Framework of Language Reference of B2. So, and remember, these are the 2 biggest cities in our country, in Vietnam. And in Bến Tre, a province in the Mekong Delta, there was only 1 out of 700 teachers passed this level. And in a study conducted by Nguyen and Zurich in their survey, they found out that there were 80,000 in-service teachers, but over 90% of them were underqualified. But remember, these statistics were 10 years ago, so I guess that things should be better. But anyway, that actually it put an urgent need to improve our English teachers' language proficiency. And so this is part of the reasons why the government of Vietnam implemented the National Foreign Language Project, what we call a Project 2020. So what up with the budget of $5 billion US. So the aims of this project are to promote the study of English and to meet the trends of globalization and international interdependence. It is also fosters teachers' professional practices, including the teachers' language proficiency. So the aims of the project was to provide courses on teaching matters, language courses to achieve B2 and C1 levels. However, there's a lot of focus that was given to the teachers on how they can repair to pass B2 and C1 level tests. And also the trials were given to teachers. Materials were taken from IELTS and TOEFL, while little priority was given to have the teachers improve their pronunciation and fluency. And we know that the language, we do agree that the language project does play an important role. However, so what do the teachers and how do the teachers maintain and improve their actual language proficiency after all of these tests? And after the project has finished, they will come back to their teaching. We cannot just do this project and then another project that will go on and on. So what I think we need to question that we should do something more sustainable and more effective and also cost effective. So, and because the teachers will face, teachers, they face a lot of challenges in maintaining their language proficiency. As we can see here, there are a number of reasons here, a number of challenges here. It is the lack of English language environment. Teachers, I guess the only or the main environment where teachers can use their English is in a classroom. And moving out the classroom, they have very limited opportunities to use their English. And also there's a lack of communities of practice after pre-service training programs. So at university, when they were pre-service teachers, they had a lot of chances working and talking with their peers. But once they become English teachers, they still have the community of practice. But here, the practice is more about discussion, about teaching grammar, vocabulary, or how to deal with the students. But there will be, I guess there will be very little discussion on how we can improve our language proficiency, I mean, for the teachers. And all the reasons here, as you can see, teachers and students, low levels of language proficiency, and the CLT, the communicative based language teaching, and paper-based tests. So English seems to be taught as a content subject rather than a communicative language. This is why students reading and writing were ranked the highest, while listening and speaking were rated the lowest. So as I said, that we better think of something more sustainable and more effective to help the teachers. This brings me to Toastmasters, and because it comes from my own experiences. I had some hands-on experiences with that, and I think that this approach, I believe that this approach can help teachers to maintain and improve their language proficiency. So here I'm going to talk about the aims of Toastmasters, is structure, like how it is run, my experiences, and the impact of Toastmasters. And lastly, we're going to talk about using Toastmasters for professional development. So about Toastmasters, Toastmasters International, it is an international organization, and it is a non-profit organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. At the moment, there are 300,000 members, Toastmaster members, and they are all in 149 countries with over 15,800 clubs. So you can see that is a huge organization. And the mission of Toastmasters is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. At the club mission, so when you are a member of a club, the mission of every club will be to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So that is the mission of the club at the club level. So I'm going to talk about my experiences with Toastmasters. That would dated back to my years in Australia. So first in 2014, that was before my PhD proposal presentation. I came to my one of my supervisors' office, Dr. Amanda Baker, that she will have I think a plenary speech in November. Yeah, so I gave her a rehearsal of my presentation. And after the rehearsal, she gave me some, well, actually good feedback and comments because supervisors are always very encouraging. But also at the end of our meeting, she mentioned Toastmasters and she encouraged me to join that. But you know, at that time, my mind was just busy with my proposal presentation, which was coming in a few days. So the idea actually was just slipping off my mind and I just forgot about that. That was in 2014. And then in 2019, after I completed my PhD, and I requested Dr. Amanda Baker if I could sit in or audit her oral communication skills class for the master's students. And she let me in. So in when we study in this class, everyone will have to give a presentation. They have to present something. And she also assigned me a topic about professional development. And there was a reading, an article about that, related to that. And that is about Toastmasters. And when I look at that and when I read that paper, I like it. And then I remember the term Toastmasters that she mentioned years ago, well, 5 years ago. I said, oh, wow, okay, this one, and I'm gonna talk about this. And reading the paper gave me some ideas about Toastmasters, but if I have to talk about it, I guess that I have nothing to say more except just reporting from the paper. So I asked myself, okay, why don't I do some research, some homework about Toastmasters and see if I can join Toastmasters, again, some experiences that I can share with my classmates in the class. And this is why I decided to visit a few clubs in Wollongong, that is the city where I study there. And I visited 3 clubs. When we visited there, it's free. There's no cost there. And until you find the club that you like, then you can decide to become a member and you can pay the fees. Yeah, we'll talk about the fees later. So I decided to become a member of the Wollongong Daytime Toastmasters Club in June 2019. So this club met, well, actually we met, and even now, the meeting on Tuesday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Yeah, and they meet twice a month. So the first Tuesday and the third Tuesday of the month. And I have a lot of enjoyable learning experiences with the people there, because I'm the youngest one there. They're all there. I'm going to show you the photos later on, and you can see, yeah, even some people, they are 90 years old. Yeah. Okay, so so here we're gonna go to the these are the roles. These are the roles of the in Toastmasters that people will have to take. Yeah, and so before I talk a little bit more about this, I'd like to share with you a video about Toastmasters and what do people say about that. Can you see the?
You have 10 minutes to finish your research. You rush into searching on Google, then you find a title that sounds credible. You enter the page and start reading with all.
Hello, I'm Stacy. Thanks for visiting Toast.
Can I ask if you can see the video?
We can hear the sounds, but we cannot see the screen, the video.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, let me see. So I guess that I will stop it there, and I will share again, but I will share the video. Okay. Yeah. Can you see the video now? Yeah, can you see the video? I haven't played it yet.
Toastmasters International.
Okay, yeah, let's say yes. Thank you.
Where more than 4 million people have become more confident speakers and leaders. Thanks for visiting Toastmasters International, where more than 4 million people have become more confident speakers and leaders. They did so by visiting a Toastmasters club in their company or community. When you visit a club, you'll find 3 things. Members give speeches, they take on meeting roles, and they have a great time learning. There's no designated teacher in a Toastmasters meeting. Instead, much of the learning happens by doing a particular task, such as giving a formal speech or fulfilling a particular meeting role. Ready to visit a club? It's free, and you can find one near you on the Toastmasters website at www.toastmasters.org. The purpose of the meeting roles is to help the members improve their speaking and leadership skills by providing feedback and evaluation. There are 7 different meeting roles: Toastmaster of the Day, Awe Counter, Grammarian, Timer, Evaluator, Table Topics Master, and General Evaluator. Every meeting is started by the club president, who introduces the Toastmaster of the Day. The Toastmaster of the Day is the host of the meeting. Fulfilling this role is great practice for leading meetings. The Toastmaster begins by introducing people who will fill other meeting roles for the day. He or she acts like an MC and keeps the meeting flowing smoothly and on time. Many clubs use an awe counter to document the number of filler words members use while speaking. At the end of each meeting, the awe counter reports how many ahs, ums, and other similar words each speaker used. This helps members become more aware of unintended words or sounds they make when they speak. The grammarian helps members expand their vocabularies. One of the grammarian's duties is to provide a word of the day and its definition. If a member uses the word of the day or says something well, the grammarian calls attention to it. As the name implies, the timer records the exact length of each speech. He or she also uses timing lights to help speakers stay within their allocated time limits. The general evaluator takes notes throughout the meeting and reports back to everyone, giving specific feedback on how well the meeting flowed and also on how future meetings might be improved. The general evaluator also calls for reports by the awe counter, grammarian, and timer. In every club meeting, there are at least 2 members who present speeches. These speakers don't just stand up and start talking. They use the guidelines in their designated education manuals to prepare their presentations and reach the objectives for each speech. Every speaker who has prepared speeches in advance enjoys one of Toastmasters' greatest benefits: evaluation. Think of it as having a friend watch you practice a speech and then give you helpful feedback. The speaker usually meets with an evaluator before the meeting and asks the evaluator to pay attention to certain aspects of the talk. After all the speeches are done, the evaluators present their feedback in front of the club, covering areas such as, did the speakers use their hands to gesture well? Did they control their voices throughout the speeches? What did they do especially well, and what are some ideas for improvement? In addition to prepared speeches, a few minutes are set aside for table topics. This is often the most challenging, but also the most fun part of our meetings. During table topics, a series of questions or speaking topics are presented, and members are selected to respond on the spot. This is excellent training for those situations that come up in everyone's lives, where we have to think fast and say just the right thing. It might be a job interview, a sales meeting, or a dinner conversation. Table topics are great for practicing and honing the skills of impromptu speaking. Now that all the reports have been made, the president calls the meeting to a close. Everyone joins Toastmasters with a personal goal. Maybe it's a goal to become a more confident presenter, or learn how to run a meeting, or think faster on your feet. Whatever it is, you can achieve your goal if you participate. So, what's your goal? For more information on the club experience, please visit a Toastmasters club. To learn more about how you can become a better speaker and leader, visit www.toastmasters.org. To find a Toastmasters meeting near you, visit the Find a Club section at www.toastmasters.org.
Okay. So so thank you for watching the video, and I hope that will give you some sense about good sense about how Toastmaster looks. And can you see the screen now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So as you can see that they have given you some introductions about how Toastmaster looks like, and I guess here I will just say again, maybe if it is a little bit repetitive, so apologize me for that. So Toastmasters, first, the Toastmaster is like the MC who introduces the roles of everyone there and introduce people to the stage. The grammarian, so this person will prepare a word for the day, and he will be the one, or she will be the one, who will says the word first, put that in the context, and then everyone in the club will give an introduction about them. Also, they will include the word that the grammarian had just introduced. For example, the grammarian may say lockdown, and he will talk a little bit about lockdown. Or here we say social distancing. So every member will go around, every member, and then they will talk about that. And the grammarian will pay attention to the members in the club, and he or she will report at the end that how many people have used the term lockdown during the meeting, and whether they make any grammatical mistakes or any vocabulary errors. So that actually to help people improve their speaking. And the table topics master. The table topics master will prepare a list of some impromptu questions. The questions that only the table topics master knows and the evaluator. Only two of them know. Yeah. And like if I am the table topics master, I will say the questions once or twice, and I will invite any member in a club to come to the stage and talk about that. Yeah, and while you see that you don't have much time to prepare for that, since you leave your chair, your seat to the stage, it's actually only about 5 seconds or 10 seconds. But they don't, we have the timer here. The timer will time your talk, also other people's talk as well, but the timer will not time you until you start to talk. And the ideal time to talk is at least 1 minute to 2 minutes. So when you talk up to 1 minute, the timer will turn the red, the green light. Yeah, so you know that, okay, I have reached my 1 minute. And then when you reach 1 minute and a half, the timer will turn the light to yellow. Yeah, and then when you go to 2 minutes, the timer will turn it to the red light. Yeah, so actually it gives you the sense of time, because the idea is people need to talk in a concise way. You cannot just go on and on. Yeah, and if you talk over 2 minutes and 30 seconds for at a club level, that is okay. But if there is a competition, you know that the Toastmasters also have competition for table topics questions. If you go over that 2 minutes and 31 seconds, then you will be disqualified for the contest. Yeah. So, and we also have the speakers here. Speakers here are those who will come to the club with their prepared speeches. So this is different from the impromptu speaker. So the speeches will last between 5 to 7 minutes, and the time will give the light. I mean, the timer will give the light or the signal for the speakers at 5 minutes, green light, 6 minutes, yellow light, and 7 minutes, that will be the red light. And you're supposed not to go over 7 minutes and a half. For my first speech, actually, I was aware of that, but to tell you the truth, I went over to 9 minutes. But you know, these people, they're very nice. They're very nice, and they actually don't care about that. Didn't care about that, and that's all okay because you're a new member. And it is actually the atmosphere, the environment is very supportive and encouraging. They all want people to come and to learn and to share. So we have the speech evaluator. The speech evaluator will evaluate those who answer the table topics questions, and also the table topics master. Yeah, they will give evaluation on the language used, the structure of the talk, whether you use your hand gestures, how is your eye contact, how are you interacting with the people, the audience at a club. And the speech evaluator, there's another one. So this, we have the speech evaluator who gives evaluation for this section. We have another or two evaluators will give evaluation for the speakers here. If we have 2 speakers here, then we need 2 evaluators. Yeah, and we have the same criteria for evaluation for those speakers. So the timer will give a report later on. The counter that you have heard the lady talking about. So you have a sheet, a paper, you write the name of the members, and you will notice how many ums, ahs, or well, things like that, those fillers that are used during their talks. I made a lot of ums and ahs in my first meetings, and I didn't notice. Even I used that a lot before I came to my club, and I thought that it is okay. But once you join the club and you see that people they do not use that. Yeah, they try not to use that. Instead of that, they will pause. They will make a good pause before they may go to ums and ah. but actually, as I said, it is just for people to support each other. So even you make some that's okay. That is just like a reminder to tell you that, okay, next time I should pay attention to my feelers. And we have the listener. I think in the video they do not mention the listener. The listener is the one who will listen to everything and will write down some questions. And at the end, they will ask the members about the information that has been mentioned by other members here. For example, you can say, who said that she graduated from the university 10 years ago. So then you have to tell the name of the person who said that. So this actually is a way to check whether you are following, you are paying attention to the speakers. Yeah, and then at the end we have the generator, the general evaluator. Sorry, so this person will give a general evaluation about the meeting, today's meeting. Yeah, and at the end, the meeting will close and everyone will go home, and they may choose the day for the next meeting. Usually the days will be fixed, but they will talk about the roles of people for the next meeting, and then people will prepare. Yeah. So here I'm gonna share with you some information, like I'm gonna share with you the meeting agenda. How does it look? The table topics, questions, and evaluation, and the pathways. Okay, let's go first with the meeting agenda. Okay, so this is the agenda of my club. The day is 26th of November 2019. Okay, so the meeting is at 10:15. As you can see here, every club they may organize a little bit differently. So we got a chair here. The grammarian will introduce the word. Okay, and then we go here, the table topic section. Okay, and we have Helen, like Helen here, she's the table topics master. So she will ask people the questions, and the table topics, those who answer the questions will be the table topics speakers. And we see there's a table tonic. After the speakers finished their talks, so we give the time for the table topics evaluator to work on her evaluation. We have the table tonic. Table tonic is some funny stories, a joke that the member shares with the club, and then a toast. A toast is like the good news, some good news that you like to share with the club, that people may cheers. They will just hold their glasses and they cheers together. For example, in 2019, I remember one of the toasts that we made on that day was to highly appreciate the firefighters in Australia for their efforts and then the hard work for putting the bushfires in Australia. It was a terrible event, things at that time. So then I got the timer. I was a timer. Then I'll let people know about how much time they spend on these activities, and when the meeting started, yeah, whether it was on time. And then we got a break. Then we go to the Toastmasters section. Here it is the speakers will talk. So I made one talk. I got a speech on that day, and my evaluator was Helen. And at some club, this section, the Toastmasters section, can be given first before the tables topic section. It depends on the club. So, but there are two main sections there. And after the two speakers here talk, the evaluator will give the evaluation. And then we got the report. The listener, grammarian, counter, yeah, and then we had a final tonic, that is the final funny story. And we got the next meeting day, yeah. So I hope that will give you a sense. And here you can also see on the left-hand side, there's several roles that people have to take. I didn't take any roles here, but actually taking these roles will have people to improve their confidence, and then, well, confidence of course for sure, but their leadership skills. Yeah, we got vice president, public relations, secretary, treasurer. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna close this and we move on to the next one. The table topics questions. So I was, sorry. Oops. Okay. So I was responsible for giving the table topics questions on one of our club's meeting. So I prepare the questions here, but before that, I have to make sure that I will go through these steps. Yeah, I welcome people to this section, and I will tell them about the time. I will tell them that who will be the evaluator. Josh was the evaluator on that day, and I will raise the questions once or twice, and I will call on the member. Yeah. Okay. And then, for example, these are some questions for the table topics section. So, you know, as I said, that the members, they do not know these questions except the evaluator, because the evaluator needs to know the questions so they can have some sense about that, but members do not know. So, for example, I would say, if you could instill one piece of advice into a newborn baby's mind, what advice would you give? So I would say, for example, I say, okay, Thư, please, right? So Thư will try to organize her ideas, whatever she does, and then she will leave her seat and she will come to the stage, and she will start talking. As soon as she starts talking, the timer will time. Yeah. So so these are the questions. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move to the next one. That is the evaluation. Okay. So so this is the evaluation that we give to the speaker with the repair speech. Okay, so like here I gave the evaluation to one of the members. She's very experienced. She's been a member for, I think, up to now maybe 10 years. Yeah, and her speech lasted between 5 to 7 minutes with the title here. Usually we will just write on the paper, and then we would hand it to the member, the speaker, by the end of the meeting. But because during this time our meeting was online due to the COVID-19 in Australia at that time, so we were online then. So I type it and I email her. So I put my like general comments to her. Before that, I gave my verbal evaluation to her when we met online, and then I sent this to her. So these are her strengths, and these are the things that she needs to work on and to challenge herself for the next speech. Like as I said here, the examples are great, but to give little time for the conclusion. To challenge yourself, you could reduce or select the samples. So you can have more time for your conclusion. And moving down here, so the evaluator will give the scores and also the comments on the right-hand side here. So clarity, I don't know why it is both 4 and 5 here. I think I marked 5 for her. Yeah. So you will evaluate on the speaker's clarity, the vocal variety, the eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, whether you feel comfortable with your speech. I was given a comment from one of my evaluators that, all right, your speech is good, but maybe you can relax a little bit more so you can enjoy your talk. I think that is a great advice for me, because I was a new member, and still now I'm still very new to Toastmasters. However, this actually gives me a great idea that, all right, I want to send a message to people, but at the same time, I need to relax with that. I need to feel comfortable, enjoy it with that. So yeah, so interest, yeah, and topic. Okay, so yeah. So I hope that will give you a good idea about how it looks like. And then we go to pathways. I put a link. I hope that it will link to a website. This is the Toastmasters website. All right. Can you tell me if you can see the website? You let me know. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna running up because the staff says that I don't have much time left. Okay, so okay, the pathways. Sorry for being too wordy. All right, so there are 11 pathways here, and in each pathways you can choose here. There are 5 levels. In each level, there will be 3 or 4 speeches that you need to make. So you see there's a lot of ongoing learning here. If you do 11 pathways here, that will take you about 200 speeches. Yeah, so you can see that people would, okay, how can I come back? Now I'm going back to the screen. Can you see the PowerPoint screen? Can you see the PowerPoint screen? Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah. So the pathways actually they're very great. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. Yeah, but very great in. So here the photo that I took from the video record. Yeah, so that was online. So you see they are own. Yeah, they're own senior people. Okay, so I was a table topic master on that day, and I gave the questions to people, and she was the one who was answering my question, and he's the timer. He turns his background to green just to let her know that it reaches 1 minute, and now it is 1 minute and a half. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of impact of Toastmasters on language proficiency, and there at the moment there are not many empirical studies on Toastmasters yet, and then there's little attention given to using Toastmasters on teachers' language proficiency. So I think that would be a place that we can do in order to fill a gap. That there are some studies that have been conducted on students. Yeah, you can see here. And the results of these studies show that the teachers, they could enhance their speaking skills, build up their courage, and they felt that the activities were fun, enjoyable, and interesting. And they, here in another study, this is the one that I had to read for my presentation in Dr. Amanda Baker's class. And they, here the students report that they improve their proficiency in public speaking. They have positive attitudes about Toastmaster. They like their ability to carry on a conversation or discussion, and the use of English in their daily lives. Also their leadership skills, because they took different roles. They took different roles in their class for those Toastmasters activities. So these are the benefits that we can gain from joining or participating Toastmasters activities or the clubs. So how can we use Toastmasters for professional development? So I think throughout my presentation that you can have, you can see that it is very effective and beneficial. But if we just think about that and we do nothing, and then it's not gonna do anything. So I encourage you to find and visit some clubs. You can go online here. Then you can become a member of a club, online or offline now, because of the COVID-19. A lot of clubs are now online. You need to pay the fees for membership. You need to pay, if you are an official club, yeah, you pay $20, $20 US for registration fees. And then for the membership, you have to pay that annually, 6 months or for a year. And that is about 45 or 50 US dollars for 6 months. Yeah. Then you can start a club. If you feel confident, if you have experiences, if you can link with people, you can start a club, get people together. Or you can also use the ideas that you get from Toastmasters, and you can establish a community of practice at your school or with other schools. You link and you gather your colleagues together. You can also provide Toastmaster oriented activities in your class. You have any other suggestions that we can talk about in the Q&A? Here I like to show with you the how you find a club here. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So here you see on the main page of Toastmaster, you click on Find a Club. All right. Okay, and you go down here. You go down here. So, for example, I'm in Long Xuyên, right? I'm in An Giang. Okay, I'll type An Giang. I will see if there are any clubs here. No, and no, right? Let's try in Cần Thơ. Okay, no. So, well, that is the potential for you. But if we try, for example, in Ho Chi Minh City, okay, you see some here, right? You can search for further information from this club. They have the time. You can also find them on Facebook as well, and then you contact them and you meet them online. For example, if I try in Wollongong, this is how I found the clubs. Yeah. So this is the club that I joined before. Yeah. So this is a club at the University of Wollongong. So these are the 3 clubs that I visited, and then I started out with this one. Yeah. Okay. So back to the screen. So this is all about my presentation, my sharing my shared experiences with you, and I hope that it will give you some idea about Toastmasters, and I hope that that you can consider, you may consider joining Toastmasters, and you learn a lot from Toastmasters and in regarding improving language proficiency. And so thank you very much for your attention, for your listening, and I'm happy to receive your questions. Thank you.